Live from Orlando.com, News 6 Plus, and WKMG. We're getting results in your neighborhood now at 6:30 p.m.
Now at 6:30, we are learning new details about a carjacking, kidnapping, and murder case that gripped a community for months. Witnesses recorded this moment back in Winter Springs. In April, a man armed with a rifle forcing his way into a car. The Seminole County Sheriff's Office turned the case over to federal investigators after the woman who was driving this white Dodge Durango, or that car you see right there, was found dead in Osceola County. Good evening. Thank you for joining us here live on News 6 Plus. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
And I'm Justin Mormuth. Tonight, we've discovered there have been 3 more arrests, and one of the suspects has signed a plea agreement in the case. News 6's Catherine Silver looks at each player and what we know about their involvement so far.
It's this video that captivated communities from South to Central Florida this spring. An armed and masked man confronting a driver in broad daylight at East Lake Drive and Tuscaloosa Road.
We here at News 6 have been tracking every twist and turn this case has taken so far and every single arrest. Federal investigators have linked 9 people to the crime, either directly tying them to the kidnapping and killing or a drug operation they say the suspects were involved in some way.
Let's start with the victim, Catherine Aguas Vivas. Court documents say she drove from Homestead to Seminole County to pick up $170,000 in drug proceeds to be laundered as part of an ongoing drug money laundering operation. It was here in Castleberry where she met Giovanni Crespo Hernandez. The sheriff says he spoke with her on the phone during her 4-hour drive. At least that's what her brother told detectives.
Lewis tells us that Giovanni says that Catherine was up here to deliver money and other stuff for a friend.
Investigators say Crespo Hernandez was also talking to this man, Jordanish Torres Garcia. He's who detectives say was the gunman in the carjacking. They spotted the same sweatshirt in his Facebook profile picture as the man in the video. The sheriff also believes he bought the green Acura seen here behind Catherine Aguas Vivas' white Dodge Durango. Investigators say the driver of the Acura is Kevin Ocasio-Justiano. Surveillance cameras captured both cars on the way to Kissimmee, where Catherine Aguas Vivas was found dead in a burning car with bullets on the ground. It's also where court documents say Derek Rodriguez Bonilla met with them and handed over the firearm that was used in the murder. Osceola County is also where Giovanni's girlfriend was arrested for picking up a drug delivery.
I know that there's some bad players and bad actors that are doing incredibly dangerous things with this.
Since federal investigators have taken over the case, we've learned 3 more people have been arrested. Court documents detailing their involvement have not been publicly released, but when Cesar Silva Fernandez was arrested by Orlando police 2 weeks after the murder, he was in a car with Annalise Colon de Jesus and Derek Rodriguez Bonilla. An arrest report shows there was cocaine and a firearm involved. The charges are unrelated to the carjacking case.
This case is about drugs and money.
Investigators later found out these 2 split the money the victim had. Kevin Ocasio-Justiano said he got $60,000 from the robbery. He signed a plea agreement that was just filed in court this week. It connects him to the carjacking and other serious drugs and weapons offenses. I'm Catherine Silver, getting results, News 6.
All right, turning to our forecast now. You know, this morning it had potential. But for the dog walk, it didn't quite work out. But the afternoon was nice.
It was fantastic. Yeah, we got rid of the clouds, got rid of some of that mist that was out there. Felt pretty good. Now we're going to watch the cooler air kind of trickle down the Florida Peninsula.
You've warned us. You warned us.
I tried to. Yeah, and there's much more where this came from. So if you're not a fan of this stuff, I do have good news for the weekend, kind of. At least half of the weekend's looking really, really nice. Temperatures right now in the upper 50s in Orlando. We're chilling down to 62 in Kissimmee. You might want the light jacket again if you're heading back out. We're into the upper 50s in Claremont. We're at 58 degrees in Ocala. Frost potential does return tonight for a select few. It's mainly northwest of I-4, so that's going to be the northwest corner of Daytona Beach, closer to Volusia County, I should say, into Pearson, into Astor, Lake Catherine, the Villages, getting into Ocala as well, Denellen. Bunnell. We're going to be under the gun for the patchy frost settling back in as we'll be colder a little bit further to the north. We're back into the mid-50s. Any of that shower activity is long gone now. We're at 52 by 9, 49 degrees by 11. Most of us wake up in the 30s and 40s again tomorrow. We're going to pinpoint that giant warm-up coming away for the weekend. It's extremely short-lived because more cold coming in behind that. We'll talk about that in about 15 minutes, guys.
Again, potential. He said giant warm-up, but it's not going to last. All right, thank you, Jonathan. Well, we are now less than a week away from Inauguration Day.
Security in the nation's capital will be stepping up. News 6 anchor Matt Austin explains what we can expect.
On Inauguration Day, the Capitol will be on lockdown.
We're not tracking any specific or credible threats to the inauguration.
So this map here shows the multiple layers of security. The pink area right here is the pedestrian restricted zone. It includes the White House, the U.S. Capitol, and the mall. Some boxes here donate pedestrian checkpoints, these that you see right here. And all vehicles will be checked for bombs in the yellow shaded area in this map. And the red area right here, that's along the Potomac, is closed off to all civilians.
We're dealing with a threat landscape where terrorists, whether they be foreign, jihadist-inspired, or domestic terrorists, or others, can move from radicalization to action quite quickly, often with very crude but still lethal attacks.
FBI Director Christopher Wray says the Secret Service, Homeland Security, and Capitol Police are taking the lead on inauguration security.
What I would tell you is that I have enormous confidence in the FBI's men and women in our role in supporting the other agencies which have the primary responsibility for securing the inauguration.
So I'll be in D.C. for the inauguration to bring you the stories of Central Florida's connections to the big day. If you're traveling to Washington for the inauguration, I'd love to hear from you. Send me an email. My address is maustin@wkmg.com. In studio, I'm News 6 anchor Matt Austin.
Proposed rate increases for Florida's citizens' property insurance still unresolved tonight and won't likely affect customers' bills for months. The Florida Office of Insurance Regulation hasn't ruled on the June proposal for a 13.5% average rate hike. Florida Insurance Commissioner Michael Urowski reported to the Senate that the industry, including citizens, is financially sound after 3 hurricanes in 2024. And that's thanks to insurance changes made in 2022.
Things are going pretty well. We're seeing improvement. With the peak of the crisis that occurred was in 2022. Post many of the reforms that have taken place, we're seeing stability has emerged throughout the marketplace.
Jaworski says Hurricanes Helene and Milton could have caused insolvencies without the changes made in 2022. The state is shifting policies from citizens to the private market. It's called depopulation, but some homeowners say options are limited.
Applications are now open for Osceola County's tenant-based rental assistance program. It offers rental help for people who are experiencing homelessness or at risk of losing their home. The program provides assistance with rental subsidies for up to 24 months. Tenant preference units, expected quality housing, security deposit assistance, and case management support. Applicants must be residents of Osceola County for at least 6 months, and their household must have an income below or at 60% of the area median income. Sunday is the deadline to apply. Visit clickorlando.com to check to see if you qualify and learn how to submit your application.
Central Florida is making strides in connecting South Korea to Orlando with a new agreement for direct flights from Incheon Airport to MCO. The initiative, led by the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority and local partners, aims to boost business and tourism. The CEO of the South Korean airport highlights the benefits of this first ever Asia-Orlando route. Kevin Tebow of GOAA Goa calls it a partnership between global gateways. The agreement, rooted in a trade mission led by Osceola Commissioner Cheryl Grebe, promises to strengthen ties and position Neo City as a tech leader. This move is expected to attract investments and increase passenger demand between Northeast Asia and Florida. Let's take a look at what's trending right now on Central Florida's #1 news website, clickorlando.com. Apparently, a lot of obscene license plates were rejected in 2024. The state of Florida releasing the list of plates that were a little too racy for approval. Many of the rejected plates spell out or allude to profanities. Big shock.
Yeah.
See what they get away with.
So we desperately wanted to show you our favorite rejected plate, but as you can see, all of it is censored. We can't even begin to guess. We can't air it on TV, but if you are curious, you can go through the full list of rejected plates. You can find it at clickorlando.com.
I got a couple ideas of what that could spell out.
Several ideas.
Clever spelling
How many
ways.
spaces were there?
Yeah, that's
Oh, boy.
interesting. I've seen some pretty. I've seen some though on the road. I'm like, interesting. You got approval on that.
Do you find yourself sounding them out as you're driving behind?
Sometimes.
It's like, oh,
Sometimes.
now I know what it is.
Sometimes.
Okay.
And here are some other stories that are trending on clickorlando.com. Can you switch your brake lights from red to white? Please, goodness, no. For car enthusiasts, customizations are a rewarding way to express individuality,
No.
but you can do that in other fashions, not just on a road where you're impacting so many others.
Yes.
Trooper Steve warns your brake lights must stay red. Can't
Wow.
believe he had to answer that. Changing the color is illegal and can pose serious safety risks, as we were
Because
saying.
it looks like a headlight's coming at you.
Boneheads.
Oh, wow. And lastly, is the fabled Garden of Eden really in Florida? One man believes so. So Torreya State Park along the Apalachicola River is home to the endangered Torreya trees, some of the rarest and oldest in the world. So Elvie Calloway, a minister and retired lawyer, made this intriguing claim. To see how he came to this conclusion, head to our website, clickorlando.com. What say you, Justin?
I don't know if I want to respond to that.
We're going to keep it
Let's
moving.
keep it going.
We're just hours away from another historic mission to the from our space coast.
Mercy. Coming up, how Blue Ghost Mission 1 is hoping to land on the moon. You're watching News 6 at 6:30 live on News 6 Plus. We're getting results in Windermere, Sanford, and all of Central Florida. Keep it here.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
A space company is trying again to land on the moon. No U.S. spacecraft has reached the lunar surface intact and upright since Apollo 17 in 1972.
But overnight, 2 commercial lunar landers will begin their own months-long journeys. News 6's James Barbero is with a retired astronaut turned CEO, hoping to stick the landing.
So Ron Garan went to space on the space shuttle, the Soyuz, And he also rode around the world on the International Space Station. Now, Colonel Guerin, you want to go to the moon, not as an astronaut, but as a CEO. What are iSpace's interests in the lunar surface, sir?
Yeah, great question. The goal of the global company is to help create the infrastructure necessary to establish a permanent, significant human presence on the moon.
And how do you think your experiments can help the Artemis program?
Well, one of the experiments we have on board is to break water into hydrogen and oxygen. That really would open up the doorway to the entire exploration of the solar system if we were able to use those assets that are on the moon.
We've seen that sticking this landing can be pretty difficult. Astrobotic and Intuitive Machines had their complications a year ago. Even your company had a crash 2 years ago.
That's right.
Why do you think you can be successful this time?
Well, we did have, unfortunately, did not achieve a soft landing on our first mission. This is our second mission. The good news is, though, none of the hardware was the fault. There was a lot of low-hanging fruit, a lot of lessons learned that we can pull from the first mission and fix that, and we have done that. And so we're very confident that if we face the same problems that we faced on the first mission, that we would be successful on this mission.
Colonel Guerin, best of luck, sir. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
This mission is named Ghost Riders in the Sky. It's named after this other spacecraft that's on board a Falcon 9 rocket tonight. That's the Blue Ghost from Firefly Aerospace. Once the Falcon 9 at pad 39A is upright, the launch time is at 1:11 in the morning. If you're staying up late, we'll carry that launch for you live on clickorlando.com. At NASA's Kennedy Space Center, I'm James Sparvero, getting results, News 6.
Thank you, James. All right, by the way, we want to take you there, show you a live look from Kennedy Space Center. So here it is in all its glory, nice and dark out there. Not quite the view, but I'll tell you this, at 1:11 in the morning, if this baby goes off, it's going to light up like a firecracker. We need some nice weather. I think we're timing this out pretty nicely. So let's bring in meteorologist Jonathan Kegas here. I mean, going outside today, I didn't want to come in. It was one of those kinds of days with the sun shining. It's getting a little cold now, but is there anything that would jeopardize that launch from the weather side of things?
I think we're looking good on the weather side. Yeah.
How about technically?
Above his pay grade.
a little bit, yeah. I know something froze up on the other one.
I know, that's exactly right. But
not because of the weather, though. That was not from the weather. But no, we're looking good on the weather front for these next couple of launches. So there will be some extra clouds we're going to be watching for the New Glenn coming in, some thicker ones. So that's going to be really the main thing that we watch. With that one, it's rocket science. It's hard to launch a rocket. I mean, we keep on...
Yeah, we're seeing that, right?
Yeah, when I say we keep on delaying, we have no say in that stuff. But you got to thread the needle, especially when there's humans on board, of course. Then you have to watch the weather all the way up towards Ireland in case there's a problem. Patchy frost north of Orlando tonight. That's going to be the real deal where you have to keep your plants covered. And if you have your plants covered, it might just be a good idea to keep them that way. It is going to be much, much warmer for the weekend, but it is going to be a cool start, cool finish to the work week, warm for the weekend, and then more chilly air starts to pour back in as we get into next week. Our front from yesterday, it is now cleared Florida. It's brought Miami down to the upper 60s, Orlando now into the upper 50s, Jacksonville's in the low 50s. It's 45 right now in Atlanta, and cooler air again is working its way down the Florida Peninsula. Satellite and radar showing us a mainly clear sky. We do have a few of these high, thin, wispy clouds that are going to try to push in gradually through the rest of the evening and overnight. They pose no threat for any rain tonight or tomorrow morning. There we go at 5, 6 o'clock. You see a few scattered clouds in the mix. More clouds try to push in. Again, these are those higher, thin clouds. We'll try to filter out the sun rather than being complete overcast like what we saw this morning. Could ring out a few stray showers tomorrow. The air is going to be really, really dry through the surface, so those drops are going to have to make that long trip to the surface. Again, if they try to survive, again, they will be few and far between if they do develop. There's 5, 6 o'clock on your Thursday morning, still those higher thin clouds. Try to thicken up those clouds. And again, that's what we're going to be watching for the hopeful New Glenn launch anyway. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll be having that sun-cloud mixture again. Here's a live look outside Port Canaveral. The breeze still elevated along the Space Coast tonight. We're back to the upper 40s and lower 50s across the Space Coast. We're at 53 degrees at the port right now, with the wind sustained at about 13 miles an hour. 54 in New Smyrna. We're at 51 degrees in Palm Coast, hanging around 60 in Kissimmee, back to Point Siena and into Celebration. Now here's a look at your pinpoint, accurate forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Florida Lottery.
Temperature is going to head back down into the 30s and 40s, so much colder when you wake up tomorrow morning. We're at 45 in Orlando, 40 in the Villages. Denellen, good evening. We're back into the upper 30s tonight. Tomorrow afternoon, sun cloud mixture. Again, more clouds try to push in those higher thin wispy clouds. Getting back into the mid 60s in Claremont tomorrow, 67 degrees in Holopaw. Most of us, again, into the low to mid 60s. Our next system rolls around Saturday into Sunday, mainly into Sunday. This is early on Saturday morning. We're going to be warm. Our winds shift out of the south ahead of this system. Then you see as we work our way late into Saturday, into Sunday, our next cold front comes through. Some heavier rain expected near Jacksonville. We're going to start to see that front weaken a little bit in terms of the rainfall potential as across the central Florida, but that will deliver us another round of chilly air as we get into early next work week. We're at 63 tomorrow after a start in the 30s and 40s. Really the same deal Thursday, another chilly start on Friday, but we're back to the mid-60s with sunshine. Rain chances up to 30%. That's mainly late in the day on Saturday. That continues into Sunday. Look how warm we are, though, mid to upper 70s. Next front comes through. It's going to be cooler for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday, staying on the cooler side into the middle part of next work week, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. Well, now that the holidays are over, you've probably, hopefully, you've put everything away. So all of those decorations and lights that you pulled out of the attic so long ago.
Yeah, instead of just throwing those strands of lights in a bag, there is a better way, though. News 6 handy newsman Eric Von Anken is showing you how to wrap up those lights and store them for next year, getting results at home.
Quick recap. Remember we showed you right before the holidays how to get lights up on your house as painlessly as possible? It's all about the clips. Well, now we're going to show you how to get the lights down and, more importantly, how to store them so you don't have one great big mess next year. Hey, I'm News 6 anchor Eric Von Anken, the handy newsman with Destiny as always, and we are back with Josh, one of the pros here at We Hang Christmas Lights. Still a great name, Josh. It seems the key to all of this is organization.
Yes, wrapping, labeling, and storing.
Ah.
Let me show you.
Okay. Step one, Josh, obviously, is take the lights off the house, but you do something I never even thought of. You plug everything in just to make sure you're not putting up dead strands next year.
Yes, we also take a picture.
Take a picture of the lights in place on the house. Check this out. Here's your other house hack. Josh actually makes his own light taker downer tool. He takes a piece of wire, he bends it in half, and he tapes it to the end of this pole. Watch this. Josh uses the ladder as little as possible because he has the hook. Step two, Josh, I see, is wrapping up the cords.
Yes.
But you got a method.
The little ones, we ball them up like this.
And I see Joelle has a different technique, Josh, for the bigger bowl.
Yes, for the bigger ones, we like to loop them.
Like you would wrap up an extension cord.
Yes. Then we'll take a zip tie and we'll put one at the top and then one in the middle to keep them from falling open.
These guys tell me they go through 150,000 of these every single year, most of them just for tying up the lights. Ah! My finger! Again? Aha! Step three, I see.
Labeling, Eric.
You label everything, Josh.
Yes.
Step four, Josh, last step is storage. You guys use bins.
Yes.
I use bags at home. Seems like that's a bad idea.
Definitely.
That's getting results at home.
Yeah, those labels are a lifesaver. There's nothing like a box.
A rando box.
What's in it?
Especially if you're putting them up in the attic and you're like, don't know what this is.
But
Is this Christmas lights? Don't know.
Let's hope so. And you don't want to bring it down. That's a lot of effort.
I got a hack for you.
What?
If you buy a bunch of lights around Christmas time and you're going to put them up on your house and maybe you have an extra box that you didn't need, make sure you take that back before they become $3 at Home Depot.
Listen.
Because I did, and they go, yeah, we're going to give you $3.
No, I just bought me from 75-cent lights that I'm going to use
But like,
next year.
I bought them for whatever, $20, and now they're $3. And they go, well,
even with the receipt?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That seems terrible. All right, moving on now. Orlando Cat Cafe opened nearly 10 years ago in Claremont. Now it is ready to open more locations across the country.
And you can be part of this as well. This is the first cat cafe in the U.S. to expand with a franchise model. All right.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Great logo. To open a cafe, it'll cost around $500,000. But this price includes the franchise fee, marketing, training, so much more. The cafe is known for allowing people to play with cats that are up for adoption, also a great cause. Since its opening, more than 2,000 cats have found new homes. We have what cats are up for adoption right now and how you can take one home on clickorlando.com. What a great idea. I love that they're expanding because that's such an important thing.
No, it really
find
is.
those cats new homes.
2,000, that's a really good track record.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you should have the dog and cat cafe because I think they can get along.
That's next.
Yeah, we'll work on that one.
We will. In this commercial break. We'll be right back.
Coming up in the morning, changing the rules when it comes to parking along one part of the coast.
Yeah, the beachside city looking to give the boot to one unpopular crackdown and what it could all mean for your next trip to the coast.
And your pinpoint weather and traffic every 10 minutes. We'll see you for News 6 Morning starting at 5.
All right, let's head down under to Australia for a moment. 9 beaches in Sydney were closed today after small white and gray balls of debris washed up during the summer holiday season. Northern Beaches Council is working to safely remove the debris. You see it right there. The beachgoers are advised to avoid these beaches until further notice. Authorities are collaborating with the state's environmental agency to test the debris. Last October, beaches including Bondi were shut down after some balls appeared, later found to be formed from fatty acids and materials associated. Oh, you don't.
Oh boy.
Why are you touching that? It's associated with wastewater.
Ooh, yeah, got it. Was poop balls. Got it. Yeah, because I mean, balls of poop balls, whatever.
You don't want to be messing with that. No.
In the one picture that we saw where they had it like cracked open, I go, well, it can't be that hard to open. And clearly, you just kind of squish it open. Okay.
I think I'm finished. Thank you for watching News 6 at 6:30. Stream News 6 online anytime on our News 6 Plus Smart TV app.
We break news on clickorlando.com. We'll see you back at 11.
Take his advice, though.